Hey guys, Panzer J back here in Operation from Russia with Love. We're up to turn 14, so it's 14.4 for Japan. It's January of 43. So let's get right into our tech rolls. It shouldn't be that long of a turn. It's almost all non-combat actually for Japanese movements. So we've got our two tech rolls. We've got three techs finished. We've only got one other one even on the board. Long range aircraft at stage 1. So we'll go for that. That takes an 8 or higher. And how about radar? Not on the board at a 7 or higher. So radar first. And a 4 misses. And long range aircraft. An 11 succeeds. So we are staying very consistent. 1 for 2 every turn. So move long range aircraft up to stage 2. And that's that. Okay, so on to purchases. So I ended the last turn with what I thought was 76 IPP, but it's actually 77 because I had placed a minor factory last turn, and because of improved construction, it only cost me 7, not 8. So that saved me another $1. So I've got 77 to spend, and let's see what we got here. So we're going with 3 minor factories for 7 apiece. That's 21. 2 medium armor for 12, that's 33. 2 artillery for 8, that's 41. 2 infantry for 6, that's 47. A militia upgrade for 4, that's 51. 2 more artillery for 8, that's 59. 2 infantry upgrades to motorized for 2, that's 61. 4 militia for 8, that's 69. An infantry for 3, that's 72. And then we're going to fast track a minor port for $4. That's 76. So we should save $1. And then this fortification is because we still have the Pacific buffer zone objective. So we get to place a fortification or a coastal artillery gun on one of these islands here. Okay, so for attacks, we only have 1. So down here in Sydney, I'm going to use my medium bomber to go ahead and bomb the airfield in Sydney. And that's our 1 attack. So over here, so this red 6-sided die is for the damage by the bomber, and then the black die is the inherent AA gun. So we're going to do damage no matter what. The AA gun hits on a 3 or less. So we do 4 damage, and the AA gun misses with a 7. So that airfield has now suffered 4 damage, and we have the port blockaded with the 3 surface ships, so Sydney should be surrounded at this point. Okay, so non-combat, the medium bomber is just going to fly back to New South Wales. Okay, so let's start up here by Alaska. So we're going to take this destroyer here on a 2 that's off of a 2 in Kiska. That's going to pick up that Marine and come over 1 and drop that Marine off on the Aleutian Islands. This heavy cruiser is also going to come over 1 and join those ships. Then we've got down here in Sea Zone P29 off of Hawaii. So we're going to have a light carrier come off of that fleet. We are also going to have a fleet carrier and a second light carrier come off that fleet. Also, the naval transport. And the naval transport is going to pick up the 2 Marines on Hawaii. So we are at a major port. So all of these ships are going to go 1, 2, 3 to P5. So that's a fleet carrier, 2 light carriers, a naval transport, and that naval transport is going to drop off the 2 Marines on the Aleutian Islands there. And then on the fleet carrier was 2 fighters, and on one of the 2 light carriers was the tactical. And then, let's see, this fighter here off of Midway is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and land on that other light carrier. Let's see, what else? In P-29 off the fleet, we got 2 coastal subs. And they are going to come over. One is going to go to P-30, and the other is going to go to P-39. And I believe that's it over there. Okay, we've got this seaplane on the Philippines with a movement of 6. So it's going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and land on the Kuril Islands. Let's see what else. We've got down here, we're going to have this torpedo boat destroyer and I-12 come up 1 to I-11 and join those 2 light cruisers. We've got in Sea Zone P-50, we got a destroyer which was not in port, 5 naval transports that were in port, and 2 heavy cruisers that were in port. So one of the naval transports, and we are at a major port, is going to come over 1, pick up this infantry on Celebes, 2, 3, and drop that infantry off on New Britain, and then go in port there in New Britain. This infantry in Dutch New Guinea is going to slide over 1 to New Guinea. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so here in P-50, the 4 naval transports are going to pick up 2 Marines, 2 artillery, and 4 infantry from British Malaya. This destroyer in P-50 is going to pick up the last Marine that's in British Malaya. And along with these 2 heavy cruisers in P-50, this entire force is going to go 1, 2, 3 to I-4. And the 1 destroyer and the 4 naval transports are going to drop off 4 infantry, 3 Marines, and 2 artillery there in Italian Somaliland. This destroyer here in P-60 is going to pick up the Marine on West Timor and come over 1, 2, go in port, and drop that Marine off in British Malaya. We have a fighter on British Malaya, and that's at an air base, but we don't need the movement, I don't believe. It's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, and land in Italian Somaliland. We have a fighter in Rihe, which actually that's going to stay in Rihe. I was thinking about moving it, but no, we're not going to. So I believe, oh, lucky I double checked. Okay, so we do have one more movement. So we are, let me take a look real quick. Sorry guys, I can't remember what it was called. So it's access to resources. So we have fulfilled that because we have all of Manchukuo, Borneo, Java, and Sumatra. So that gives us 1 additional strategic rail movement. So that should put us up to 2 total rail movements. So we're going to have 2 infantry in Kwang Tung rail down to Cochin, China. And now I believe that is it for non-combat. So unit placement. So we got 3 minor factories. 1 is going down in British Malaya, so that gives us 2 minor factories there. One is going to go here in Rihe, and that also gives us 2 minor factories there. And the last minor factory is going to be up here on the Aleutian Islands. Okay, so then we've got 2 medium armor, and they are going down in Rihe. We've got 2 artillery, which we're placing down in New South Wales. We've got 2 infantry, which we're placing in British Malaya. We've got a militia and a militia upgrade. That's also in British Malaya, so just put an additional infantry down there. We've got 2 more artillery that we're placing in our minor factory in Nanking. We've got 2 infantry upgrades to motorized, and those are also going down here in Nanking. We got 4 militia. So let's see. We got 1 that we're placing in Suyan. 1 we're going to place on Hawaii. And then we've got 2 more. 1 is going to go here on the Aleutian Islands. And the other one's going to go on a 2 in Kiska. So that leaves us an infantry, a port, minor port, and a fortification. So the fortification we're going to put here on a 2 in Kiska. The minor port is going to go here for the Aleutian Islands. And then our last unit is an infantry, which we're going to put in our minor factory in Kwangtung. So that should be it. So we saved $1. We dropped to 54. So that gives us 55. And then we still have our 19 worth of bonuses. The 6 territories in China, 2 each for the Philippines, Hawaii, Borneo, Java, and Malaya. So that's 16. And then 1 apiece for Midway, Wake, and Solomons, I believe. So 19 bonus, plus we were at 55. Well, 54 plus the 1 we saved. So that's up to 74. So we should have $74 to spend next turn. So on to unit recap here. So over here in C-Zone I-4, we have 2 heavy cruisers, a destroyer, and 4 naval transports. In Italian Somaliland, we have 4 infantry, 3 marines, 2 artillery, and a fighter. In C-Zone I-11, we have 2 light cruisers and a torpedo boat destroyer. British Malaya has an air base, 2 minor factories, 4 infantry, a marine, and a militia. There's a destroyer in port in P-50. Cochin China has 2 infantry and a militia. There's a militia in Anatonkin, a infantry in Hong Kong. In Kwangtung, we have 2 mountain infantry, 2 artillery, a militia, 9 infantry, and a minor factory. Nanking has 2 motorized infantry and 2 artillery. Rihe has 2 minor factories, a militia, a fighter, a cavalry, 2 medium armor, 2 artillery, 2 motorized. The other militia stayed the same there in China. 2 infantry in Kyushu, an infantry and a militia in Tokyo. Transport in port in P-53 and infantry each on New Guinea and New Britain. New South Wales has 4 artillery, 2 tacticals, a medium bomber, 1 infantry, and 7 marines. There's 2 destroyers and a torpedo boat destroyer in P-72. On Hawaii, we have a militia In the sea zone outside of Hawaii, we've got 4 regular battleships, 2 heavy battleships, a battle cruiser, 2 heavy cruisers, 4 fleet submarines, and a torpedo boat destroyer. There is a militia and a fortification both on Attu and Midway. On the Aleutian Islands, we have 4 Marines, a militia, and a minor factory. There is also a minor port there. And in the sea zone outside of the Aleutian Islands, we've got a naval transport, 2 destroyers, a heavy cruiser, a fleet carrier with 2 fighters, and then 2 light carriers, one with a tactical, one with a fighter. So that should be it for Japan here on turn number 14. Turning things over now to Global War 36 enthusiast for the UK, France.